Right, hello Guy, thank you very much for coming today and to your careers interview. And I know we met in year 11, didn't we?
Yeah.
We had a talk then before you came to the sixth form. So what are your kind of expectations of today? Is there anything particular that you want to talk about in terms of careers?
University study maybe a little bit long term as well.
Okay, we can certainly do that. So looking at sort of after university, when you say long term, is that what you mean? Yeah, what you might do?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, well that's great. We can certainly look at that. So what I'd like to do is obviously talk a little bit about what you're doing at the moment.
Okay.
Just catch up with you in terms of what you're doing at school and with your A-levels.
Yeah.
Maybe find out a little bit about what you're thinking of doing next.
Okay.
And then, we can certainly add into that, looking kind of longer term at what kind of career ideas might be out there. Does that sound alright?
That sounds great, yeah.
Brilliant, that's great. Okay. Just to remind you as well, obviously anything that we say is confidential between us. Unless for some reason you told me something that might put you in harm's way or somebody else in harm's way, in which case I'd have to inform the school, but I'm sure we'll be fine on that. Action plan, I'll make some notes if that's okay.
That's great.
And we'll put a little action plan together at the end of the session, and there'll be a copy to you and a copy to school and a copy to your parents.
Great.
Okay,
yeah.
Brilliant. All right then. So, in year 13 at the moment, busy doing the A-levels.
Yeah.
I think from when I talked to year 11 it was politics, economics and business.
Business, yeah.
They're the three that you're doing. Tell me how you're getting on with those.
Good, yeah. Did well in the ASs.
Good.
Which was good. And then keep going with them now.
Carrying on with them, yeah. Can you remember what grades you got?
An A and then 2 Bs. A in politics.
A in politics,
yeah.
B and
B in business
studies. Excellent, good, okay. So how's it going in the second year?
Yeah, it's okay. A lot more work, but just getting through it.
Yeah. Okay. And which do you prefer? Do you have a favourite?
Probably politics. Politics,
yeah. What particularly do you like about politics then?
Like the ideologies sort of thing.
Okay.
But like a current as well is also interesting.
Right. So when you say sort of ideologies, what sort of things are you studying then?
Liberalism, conservatism.
Right.
Socialism.
Okay.
Yeah.
So sort of comparing.
And studying them. Yeah. Different types of them.
Yeah. And is it a subject that involves a lot of research?
Yeah, there's a lot of reading that goes with it. Which isn't my favourite thing in the world, but just get on with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does it make a difference? I mean, if reading's not your favourite thing, does it make a difference? The subject matter that you're reading. If I find it interesting. Yeah. Maybe I want to read a bit more of it. Yeah. I suppose so. Yeah. Yeah. So it's a case of if it interests you and grabs you, you're happy to do it.
Yeah. But if it's a bit tedious, maybe not.
Yeah. A bit like that actually. Yeah. And what about the other two subjects? What about economics? How do you...
I like economics, yeah.
Yeah,
I do. It's probably my preferred out of business and economics.
Okay, tell me why that is then.
I find it interesting. It's got the political side to it as well, which interests me. It's a bit of a step up from business, I think.
Right, okay. Is there much maths in it? Is it
a little bit, not a huge deal. Not a huge deal at the moment, no.
And are you okay with that?
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
So business is the one that comes in third place.
Yeah, I did well in it, so I kept it on.
Right.
But I'm not really hugely interested.
Was it just kind of means to the third subject?
Yeah. Okay. Got a good grade in it, hopefully.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's fair enough. And I seem to remember when I spoke to you before, you were interested in rugby.
Yeah. Still playing.
Okay.
Not as much as I used to, but still playing.
No. And for school? Or?
School and club. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So is that something you want to carry on with?
Yeah, socially, I think. Socially, I enjoy it.
Yes.
I enjoy playing my mates, so that's why.
Yeah, so it's just kind of club level is...
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, that's fine. And anything else you're involved in at school, interest-wise, or out of school maybe?
Not currently. not currently.
No.
In the past, volunteered at a school.
All right.
For children who've been excluded. It's like a referral school, which was interesting.
Right. What sort of things did you do then?
They played football at the start of the lesson, and then they had maths.
Right.
So we would those every week for those 2 lessons.
Oh, right. And so you were supporting them?
Helping them out. It motivated them, I think, as being there. Bit of a role model.
Yeah. So how old were they
then? Year 6.
Right. So
year 6.
A bit younger then. Yeah. Okay. Good. And do you have a part-time job or anything like that?
I work as a waiter.
All right.
Waiter and barman, yeah.
Yeah, what do you think about them?
It's okay. It's a means to an end also. A bit of pocket money.
Gives you some pocket money, okay. I was going to say, obviously some of these other things that you do, they kind of help with, kind of helping you to decide, where your strengths are, where your skills are. So, I mean, you've chosen a job where you're very much dealing with people as a waiter, and do you like dealing with people?
I found my skills have grown in it since starting.
Okay. Yeah.
Especially when it comes to confrontation, like take the food back or the bill's wrong.
Right.
I got better at doing that before I'd just palm it off and say I'll bring the manager over.
Right.
But I've started to deal with it a lot more.
Good. Because it requires a certain amount of confidence.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
If someone's a bit upset.
Especially when they see that you're younger.
Yes.
They feel they maybe get one up on you.
I'm going to say there's a little bit of intimidation sometimes, maybe. Yeah, so it's kind of handling that. Okay. So, what sort of skills do you, again, working in the school as well, what sort of skills do you feel you have developed?
For the school, mainly patience. You have to have a lot of patience with them. They take a while to get going, especially in maths lessons that we're helping out with.
Okay,
yeah.
So a bit of patience, but also a bit of confidence in dealing with more difficult situations.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
That's good. Okay. Right. So school is pretty okay.
All right. Yeah.
Okay. So we're obviously in the autumn term, and we're looking towards applying to university. I assume.
Yeah, university.
Yeah. So, what are the degrees you're thinking about?
Politics and international relations, and I'm also looking at PPE.
Right.
As well.
So that's politics.
Politics, philosophy, economics.
Right. Tell me a little bit about why you've chosen those.
Politics. I enjoy politics. It's my favourite topic, so that was always I think it was always a nailed-on choice.
Yeah.
And then international relations. I quite like diplomacy.
Okay.
So put that in there as well.
Yes.
And then PPE, bit of economics, which I enjoy. It's quite good to do that as well.
Okay. And adding a new subject with philosophy.
Yeah.
What do you know about philosophy?
Not a huge deal. Okay. Not a huge deal. It's pretty. I haven't.
Bit of an unknown quantity.
Pretty unknown to me. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, how sort of confident do you feel? Okay, 2 out of the 3, you know about your studying, but a third of your course being something that's entirely new. How do you feel about that?
I quite like it. A bit of new learning.
Yes.
Yeah, quite like that idea.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'll enjoy it.
Yeah. It is sometimes quite good to kind of refresh yourself into something a bit different. Yeah. And that was going to be my next question, obviously, with the international studies.
Yeah.
Or international relations, as it's sometimes called. That's a whole new stew alongside your politics.
Yeah.
What has attracted you to adding that to the politics together?
I quite like. I do find relations between countries interesting. Wars.
Okay.
I quite find interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it something about sort of going abroad and travelling?
Yeah. I like travelling as well.
Right.
Going places. I went to Uganda in the summer.
Did you?
So I quite like travelling about.
Right.
Yeah.
So what were you doing in Uganda?
We were teaching at a school.
Right.
Our school sponsors.
Oh right, that's interesting. Yeah. So again, that obviously gives you different outlook
definitely.
on things. A very different country.
Yeah.
What sort of things do you think you learned from that experience?
Hot showers take for granted.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah.
Running water.
Yeah. So just the whole infrastructure thing of
ridiculously.
how people work. Yeah. And what about actually getting along with people of different culture and so forth?
Yeah, I mean it was quite easy to get along with because they were just so nice people.
Right.
Yeah.
But obviously very different. Outlook. I mean, was that easy to communicate?
I suppose. I mean, it takes a couple of days to get into it. It took us 3 days to get to where we wanted to go, so we had a lot of time to get used to it. But
so quite remote.
Yeah, very remote. Yeah.
Wow, that's a real experience, isn't it? Excellent. Okay, so partly then the idea of being able to study in other countries and obviously maybe go to other countries, because with international studies quite a lot of the courses have a year abroad. Did you know that?
Yeah, there's a few we've looked at when we went to universities. Which is quite an exciting prospect, really. Yeah. I think I'd opt for one of those.
Would you?
Yeah.
I mean, have you got any thoughts about what you do, or do they tell you where you go? Or?
I think it depends the university that I've looked at, but they mainly tailor it to you what you want to do, which is it's quite appealing.
Great. So really you could go anywhere you want to.
Yeah, basically.
Work with different.
Work. Yeah.
It's really interesting. Well, certainly, I mean, I've come across other people who've done international relations, international studies, and certainly the type of organisations they've been able to work with in other countries has been very varied. I know somebody quite recently who spent a gap year in Thailand. Oh, bless you.
Yeah, sorry, thank
you. In Thailand with World Health Organisation.
Yeah.
And actually researching the effect of AIDS on the economy, I think.
Yeah.
So, how obscure is that? But there's lots of possibilities there with that one. So okay. So up for a little bit of a new kind of flavour coming into something that you're already used to with politics. Okay. Have you been to any universities?
Yeah, we've looked around 3 now.
Okay.
Looked around 3. Loughborough, Durham, and Birmingham.
Right.
We've looked around. I've really enjoyed Birmingham. I think that's my favourite so far.
Okay.
And then 2 more to look around.
2 more. Which?
Royal Holloway and Warwick.
You've got quite a variety there of different types of universities, big cities, the capital, smaller places like Durham and Loughborough. What were your thoughts with the ones you've been to see then?
I quite like the Birmingham idea that it's a campus, but the campus is so big that you don't feel like you're all in one place.
Yeah.
I felt in Loughborough you're a bit contained.
Okay.
To the campus, but not with Birmingham. That was quite appealing, to be honest.
Oh, right. And part of the city as well.
Yeah. The city was nice. I had a good feel about it.
Yeah. I think it's important to think about it as a place to live as well.
Yeah.
You're going to be there for 3 or 4 years, maybe longer. I mean, so many people do postgraduate studies these days. It's got to be somewhere where you feel at home. You like it. It's got enough to keep you occupied, sort of thing. So So Birmingham had a good feel.
Yeah, very good. Yeah.
Excellent. Good. Okay. So you're on with the open days. What about the application procedure?
Personal statement. My first draft's done.
Good.
So send that off to some teachers to look at, and then the UCAS is it's quite. I think it's nearly completed the field checking bits that you have to do.
Yes. Good. So that's good, because we're still in October, so we've got a bit of time to obviously check things out. How have you found actually writing the personal statement?
Quite a difficult process actually. Yeah, it's taken a while to get even the first draft done.
Yeah. I mean, when you get down to it, there's not a lot of characters, not words you can use.
No.
You've got to be very succinct in what you put. Yeah. I'm probably right that you're giving it to people to have a look at.
Yeah.
I mean, it might be that when you feel you've kind of done your final draft, that as well as people at school having a look at it who obviously know you quite well, could be an idea that you maybe get other people, I don't know, colleagues of your mum or dad or family friends or something, to have a look, because they look at a different perspective. Maybe don't know you so well. and maybe we'll pick out, well, why have you put that, or why haven't you put something else in? So I think you get as many opinions as you can on that one, because it's so vital, isn't it? That you get it right. Yeah, good. Okay. So where we are then at the moment is the A-level situation is good. Yeah. You know what you're aiming for, and you've a pretty good chance of getting that. Yeah. I didn't ask you actually what the universities are asking for with these.
I think Warwick and Durham are looking for 3 A's. Right. And then the other 3 I think are looking for either 2 A's and a B or 1 A and 2 B's.
Okay. And how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I quite like the realistic targets, and then there's always something to aim for with the 3 A's to make me work a bit harder. I think. Yeah.
So you've almost got like a 2-tier here.
Yeah.
Kind of got.
But I mean, I'll still be happy even if I get 3 A's, but want to go to Birmingham, who might only want less.
Yeah. Have you? I mean, I know you haven't been to all the open days yet, but have you got a sort of priority forming in your mind in terms of
probably Birmingham and Durham at the moment are looking like 2 ones that I like.
Okay. So that's quite good, really, because you've got, was it A and 2 B's for Birmingham? Yeah. So you've got a little bit of leeway there, and then you've got the sort of the one to aim at, the 3 A's at Durham. So that's quite good, isn't it? That's quite good. So we're okay with that. The application procedure's going well. That's excellent. Have you had any ideas, and I know it's a long way in the future, but have you had any ideas about what you might use your degree to do, what sort of careers you might
maybe diplomacy, the Foreign Office is looking quite interesting.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
What attracts you to that then?
Just the relationships between countries. I quite like to be in the middle of that.
Okay.
That'd be something cool to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think is involved in diplomatic relations or diplomacy? What do you think people have to do?
Talking to other diplomats from other countries to resolve issues, even small issues.
Yes, yeah.
I quite like that, yeah.
I guess we're almost pulling in some of the skills that you've been learning as a waiter.
Yeah.
They seem very far away,
yeah.
But like you were saying, well, I feel more able to deal with complaints and people that are getting a bit uppity or whatever. Yeah. And I guess the same in the schools and in Uganda.
Yeah.
You're in the foreign service and the diplomatic service, you'll have to deal with a lot of different people, different cultures, kind of thing. So you can see see some links there already. I mean, I think it's interesting when some of the I've got you some handouts actually to have a look at later. And one of them actually does talk about there is obviously fast-track graduate schemes into the Foreign Office, which might be something you might want to investigate for yourself. I think it's important to realise though that obviously the Foreign Office is huge, lots of jobs for graduates in there. The diplomatic side of it is obviously only one very small area, and a very kind of sought after part of it, sort of creme de la creme kind of bit, really. But again, it's you say it's something to aim for, and something, maybe you should investigate a little bit further. Certainly, if you did get into that part of the Foreign Office, the expectation is you would be able to travel abroad, work in other embassies, supporting diplomatic teams and so forth. So definitely that would be something to maybe investigate a little bit more. Any other ideas at all?
Not at the moment.
Okay. So, I mean, there's no.
No.
You don't have to kind of chum yourself down one thing.
No.
I think it's quite important at this stage that you investigate lots of different things. I think that's a really good idea. I think there's some interesting things there, but you don't get kind of hung up on that one. Start looking at other things as well. I mean, looking at the handouts I got here as degree, they call it here international relations, but it's that kind of thing. I mean, as you can see, we've got civil service. Fast tracking, you've got things like government social research officer. I mean, that kind of sounds a bit kind of boring, but I think there's a lot of possibilities there. Looking at when governments write policies, they obviously get people to do a lot of research on the ground, what's going on. I know somebody who works for a charity actually, but it's a huge multi-million-pound charity. Mostly involved in housing. she, as a graduate in international relations, is looking at sort of policy documents and informing people like the Mayor of London's office and London boroughs, as well as the government, about housing policy.
Okay. Yeah.
So you there's a lot of research skills in that, and that's researching not just in books and things, but obviously getting out and interviewing people, that kind of stuff. So it's quite a varied sort of job with lots of different possibilities in it. But even getting away from the sort of political side, you've got things like newspaper journalist, public relations, marketing.
Yeah.
They're all jobs where you're having to deal with people, there's a lot of communication skills going on. And in terms of sort of public relations, almost a sort of diplomacy thing, because you're putting an image out, you're perhaps communicating between companies or individuals in that sort of area. So there's common themes, I think, running through there in terms of the kind of skills, the kind of qualities you need to have, which, it's coming back to what you were talking about earlier, with your trip to Uganda, with your work in the school.
Yeah.
And even your job as a waiter as well. Nothing's not useful, is it, with these sort of things? So at this stage, maybe I know you've got a lot on at the moment, and you perhaps you don't want to be bogged down with too many more things to do.
Yeah.
I think in my mind there's probably two areas you perhaps want to have a look at. I think going back to the degrees is to check out what international studies and philosophy involves, and I know you've read obviously about it in the prospectuses and you've listened to them at the open days, but bear in mind they're obviously selling their courses to you. So you perhaps want to have a look, and I can give you some websites to look at these as subjects in their own right.
That'd be great.
What do you get involved in there? So I think that's one thing you can have a look at. And I think the other thing is, and again, it's kind of when you have a few 5 minutes and all I feel like reading revision or whatever, have a look. Prospects is a good site, but there are lots of others as well, and I can give you some other websites to have a look at. Cruise around. You can click on. This is it comes from an area of the site saying, what can I do with this particular degree? And it just comes up with suggestions, and then you can click on them and you can read a lot more detail about the different jobs. So you think, well, I've never heard of a market researcher, what's that? I'll click on it, find out a bit more about it. And it all, you're not making any decisions, but it's all building up a knowledge that as you go through university, it's going to start informing choices that you make there, really, about where do I go for a year's placement, what kind of thing do I want to get involved in, that kind of stuff. So I think, it's not a desperate importance at the moment, but it's something that is kind of in your mind maybe to say, let's have a look, let's sort of investigate some of these. And on your action plan, I'll put down some areas and some websites where you can do some of that research. Okay, so we've covered a lot of different things here. We've obviously covered a little bit about what you're doing at the moment. You're on with your degrees and application process. You're starting to think about particular career ideas. Is there anything else at this stage you want to talk to me about, ask me about?
I think we've covered quite a lot, so no, I think that's been very helpful there.
Good, okay. Well, what we'll do then is we'll put an application, not an application, you're doing that, an action plan together with these ideas about a bit of research around the international studies and the philosophy and some possible career ideas, and then if you need to come back, we want to come back and talk to me again about any of those, then that's absolutely fine, we can make another appointment.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you, Guy, that's great.